round 6 of the BMW IBSF 4-man bobsleigh World Cup. Hey everybody, Martin Haven, John Morgan alongside me, and John, could be another lottery in this final round of the weekend.
Yeah, Rico Peter, bronze medal last night competition, and even through the snow in the first heat, he had the third draw, and he came out, put himself in a bronze medal position for the second consecutive night. He's got 1 bronze already in the season in the previous 5 races, top 3 in the World Cup. This Swiss athlete's doing well. Max Arndt, Team Arndt, second last night. Well, tonight when the snow was coming down, he came through the snow, he had the 8th draw. Didn't have a bad start, and the guy who's the World Cup leader in points, who's won the World Cup title the last couple of years out, including a World Championship title, he puts himself again into a top position. They're all chasing Team Nico Falter. Last night he finished 11th in the competition. He started 2nd in the first heat. Might have acted like a snowplow. Tonight he's going to extract some vengeance on the track and the rest of the field. He has the best time after 1 run, and wow, we got a tight race coming up.
Yeah, we really do, John. Just 0.02 of a second separate our top 2, both from Germany. Nico Falter ahead of Max Arndt, a win apiece this season for those 2. Rico Peter, as you said, 3rd yesterday. He's 3rd in the World Cup rankings. Oscars Kibermanis and Ugi Zalems, the Latvians, both had blinding runs to finish ahead of Francesco Friedrich, and some really standout performances in the first heat. Billy Meyerhand's in the 18th, 13th position for them. Great run from the second Swiss sled, and the Dutch crew as well. They had a good run into 15th position. Lamindine rounds out the field. Kaylee Humphreys and the all-female crew will not get a second heat. Top 20 go into heat 2. Very windy though, very strong wind blowing straight into the athletes' faces at the start. You can see Lamindine's crew walking up to the start there, second off. -2 the air, -4 the ice, but it's the wind, because of course that's never constant. That is going to decide our race, and somebody is going to get crucified by it, and you know that the wheel of fortune needs to come down, not in favor of Stephen Holcomb.
Well, Steve Holcomb last night got crucified with it, but it is a winter sport, and you know, big crowd on here tonight. Look at the game. They told us 17-mile-an-hour gusts were going to happen. We thought it would happen earlier. We got through the first heat without it, but again, huge crowd on the track.
Yeah, biggest crowd they've had in here since the games in 2002, we're hearing. And they will see 20 sleds going down in the final run. Lamindine, John Jackson of Great Britain both had disappointing first heats. Ivo de Bruin, Cody Basque, Nick Cunningham, all down there in the bottom half of the draw. But Stephen Holcomb will be desperately hoping for some redemption from this track. He had such a rough ride with it yesterday. Second heat, 19th fastest from an Olympic champion and double world champion on his home ice. No.
It's a winter sport. Look at the crowd.
Yeah, they're 6 deep there in the start, up to 10 deep there in the back.
It's one of the better crowds I've seen in North America. Congratulations to the Park City organizers. RJ Shannon and his track crew done a fantastic job here, and a great presentation of our sport. We're going to see it in the next 20 sleds.
Great Britain's Lamindine with John Baines, Joel Fear and Andy Matthews didn't have great loads yesterday or in the first heat here. 20th place. Should be among the fastest starting crews in the top 3 every time. They started 17th fastest in heat 1.
486. Look at the first run. They started 504. They were up against a windshield, and boy, did they pay for it. This guy should be challenging for the medals with this start time. But last night, some driving errors, and in the second run, they ran too far, had a mishap at the start. Didn't finish. I think he finished in 8th.
8th yesterday. That was his second nth place. He's had a 4th, a 6th, and a 15th place this season. But their starts have been universally among the top 3. He's got
a problem here in this curve, but he's got the same skid into that Olympic curve. He's 4 for 4 on that curve.
Yeah.
None of it positive. Look at the wind. 48, 43.
0.3 of a second better than his first heat. 3,500s, in fact.
48, 43 would have put him in 8th.
Yeah. And that's where he should be, you know, with the starts they get, 486. But that's going to be one of the fastest of the competition.
Him and Nick Cunningham went back-to-back, or with the 3-4 sleds, there was a vortex in there of just unfair conditions. here on the bottom part of the track. He's had this problem three straight heats. This is the fourth. Look at the back end of the skid. He sneaks over onto the Olympic curve. The bottom right runner's airborne. Well, at least he's consistent in that spot. Great start, though, for the British. That's got to be encouraging as they head up to Whistler.
Yeah, first start was all over the place. Second start much better. Now, John Jackson, his teammate, beat him by 0.06 of a second in the first heat. Off a 100 slower start. If they can get down to a 5 flat, these guys, they'll be doing a good job. Jonathan Anderson, Ashley Watson, Judah Simpson are the crew. Pete Gunn making sure there's nothing. In fact, Pete Guns must be down at the bottom. Don't see him up at the top there. It's Michael Smile at the top.
Well, they had a 5:05 start, so they should better it.
Let's see if they get in, get down. 5:12. And again, with the wind gusting, this is going to be a real lottery. We said yesterday it's a crapshoot at the start, and it still is. See the track workers stepping in to try and clear the blowing snow away.
You see the snow on the track. Look at the wind gust there.
Yeah.
Don't think this will not affect this 1,300-pound bus coming down the track. It will.
Yeah, gust to blow you sideways and offline makes it look like a driving error, which is not always the case.
Half second behind his teammate, but he got beat by 20 hundredths at the start. So he should get beat by 0.6 at the bottom, all things being equal, even with that great line. Good speed, good drive. Head bouncing around back there, though.
136 flat at the bottom of the track. That is 84.5 miles an hour, and
35 hundredths worse.
Lamindine turns the tables on him.
Lamindine could live in that box there for a few sleds here.
Royal Marine Commando John Jackson disappointed with that drive.
Well, the start.
Mistakes creeping in.
Yeah, the start. Let's see how they all get in here, because they went 700 slower. Any wind gusts going left to right?
Hard to
right
tell.
There, look, you see a little bit of it there.
Yeah, hard to tell unless the
the good cohesion getting down. Albert's Alley. You know, you had a skid going in the first heat. This is like a replay from the first heat.
Yeah.
It's pretty exact. Exact same lines from the Royal Marine, 5th at the Olympic Games in Sochi, just coming back the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
All the wins. So I think we just heard what John thinks of things.
Yeah, Steve Holcomb was the same yesterday, ran into the teeth of a gale, and it is an utter lottery. You know, the ski jumping, the coach has the flag, and when the wind drops, he drops the flag for the jumper to go. Well, you kind of need the same thing here. Coach Tom Delahunty, little adjustment there. The brake handle did not come out. He had to get a knife to dig it out. Let's hope it goes back in for Chris Spring and the team.
494 in the first run, 8th best time, pretty good. This is not good though. 48.
That one on his heels caught, couldn't get in.
0.3 of a kilometer down at the start. They're only a couple hundredths down in the speed.
Well, they started 494 in the first heat, 488 in the second, but King was stood up a long time.
Yeah, he just tapped there up top of the track, 5 to 6.
He'll be in the red numbers next time.
There it is.
Here we go, 123.9 to 125.8 we just saw from John Jackson, so no speed on board. He will sink like a stone.
Yesterday he had the same problem. He had good starts, good speed up top. He just lost a lot of time on the bottom of the track.
Got to see 138, 135.2, slowest so far through that speed trap. 48.75. Lamindine and the boys move on up the order.
They might live there for a while. They could be in there for about 5 more sleds before they get knocked out.
Well, we now come up to a 3-way tie, so he's going to jump all of them or none of them. And they've shot a long way past the finish. That's Lamindine, I think, legging it up to rescue Cripps and
they don't have a clue of that. They didn't get in clean here, and they're still squiggling around the first curve. See, they should be settled there. You go in that first curve, and you have to steer the sled, and you're still wiggling.
Great reaction from one of the girls watching in the crowd. Mouth open. Oh, my God, he's still up. That was King.
This is going to take a couple of minutes. This is going to track delay here.
Hold. That is Lamindine there in the British clothes, trying to help the boys.
Oh. A lot of camaraderie here.
Yeah. Okay, everybody has a bad day at the office. Sometimes it's in public, and that's just the way that was. Sam Tiguer there at the back, returns to the team from the CFL.
It's good athletes, you know. It's good to see Chris Spring get a good start time behind him. He'll figure it out.
And the Spring has got a big smile on his face as well. I don't think he's praising the Lord for a break in the weather, but They got down safe.
Hey, Springer.
Good to see the smile on his face. Good to see him back in the four-man now. Hurry up offense. No huddle for Ivo de Bruin and the Dutch team.
Wow, they cleared this track pretty quick.
Family watching at home. I know they were talking. I was talking to them after the first heat. So everybody in the Netherlands supporting these guys.
They deserve the support. They only got 13,000 euros in support from the Dutch Olympic Committee.
That's not even covering flights. Never mind
this week
anything. Yeah.
And give him credit. This is a very determined driver. Everybody had big steer there, and everybody had a lot of positive about this guy 3-4 years ago as the next good driver coming out of the Netherlands. Just hasn't had the support, hasn't got it all going for him yet, but he will.
He corrected me after the first heat. He said, last week wasn't my first ever World Cup race in four-man. I raced it 2 years ago as well as doing the two-man. He said, but you know, be nice and we'll take it. 48.91 slide, they're third. Well, Lamin, do you know what? Lamin's looking as confused after a good second run as he was after a bad first run.
Him and Nick Cunningham got crucified with the wind coming across. They were in that little vortex window that wasn't the one you wanted to be in.
So Ivo de Bruin in third place.
Watch the skid here. Watch back into the sled. Boy, that's a big steer, a little panic steer we call that. You can't, these four-mans are tough to get into trouble. They have a mind of their own. Look at the push bars coming out. This is the old Martin Annan sled that competed in the Olympic Games here in 2002. The sled finished fourth.
Knows its way down.
It's still going. Ivo.
Yeah,
Good to see you back, Ivo.
The sled knows what it's doing. Don't steer it. It'll find its way down, don't you worry.
Great to see the Dutch back.
Yeah, really good. Well, next up, Cody Basque of the USA. David Kremen in at 2 today. Nathan Gilslider raced yesterday. And on the back is Hakim Abdul-Sabur, who was also on the sidelines yesterday. Cody mixing and matching the team to keep them all fit and all race healthy.
For these guys to get the 10th best start in the first run tells you the athletes he's got here.
Cody's still just 20. I mean, he's got a lot of physical development still to come out of him, hasn't he?
He's come a long way.
Yes, he has.
Years too. Look at the start, 495. Now, they were in a bad wind shear at the top of the track. Forced him back in this position. He drove well last night, one run. Second run, I don't think he was very happy about. Red numbers already, though. Ooh, look at that skid. That relates to the British at a 1200's better start.
See the crowd down the track. One of the great things about a bobsleigh track is you can get so close to these things. They can whistle by you at 75 miles an hour. You feel the ground shake.
It's 1200s to 1100s. He's going to have no, he's gone.
125.1. Top speed has been 127.
Going to fall 3 places. With the wind.
Yeah.
3,500s back. I said these guys are going to live here. Brian Scheimer can look on. Now you got to start looking at this. Wow. The wind gusts up there, they're talking about 17 miles an hour. And, Cody Basque had a 495 start, third best so far, 5. But there was some wind coming down the track. Let's watch it up here as we see any wind coming across our screen. They're coming out of the start house. Now they're in open air,
Well, you feel it when you're up at the start there. You just feel it blowing straight up this channel. It comes straight into your face.
Yeah, look at this. I mean,
here it blows you sideways.
Look at it. That could be blowing him to the right side.
Yeah, of course. It's a long, flat slab of a sled. Well, Cody Basque drops down into 4th place. Lamindina, Great Britain, still the lead with 15 sleds to come. Track workers rushing to get out of the way for Nick Cunningham of the USA. 17th only at the start for Team Cunningham. And they were 15th at the bottom. This is a 3-way tie they're in for 15th spot.
They were at the third best start time of 489 yesterday in the first run. I expect them to get in the low 90s here.
Yeah, these guys really know how to push a sled. They've been working together almost universally for the last 2 years.
491, look at the wind gust there.
Yeah.
He hit at a curve 1 both times last night. This heat, not. So he could extract some tankies here and hopefully knock off Lamindina at the bottom, who's been in there for 4 sleds.
Classroom champion sled looking for the lead here. He's 1100s up. 106 is good speed.
Should not have had. It should have been 12 or 1300s. Ooh, down to 80s, losing time back. These are good lines in the night train, though.
But it's slow. 125 and 126 is the top speed there for our leader, not 124.
Not good.
Faster speed here should be 138, pulling 4.5 Gs on these big high-pressure turns.
Gonna drop at least one spot, maybe.
100th of a second in the lead. Oh! 300s, he takes the lead away, holds his 15th position.
Give the Nick Cunningham team some credit. Good start. I thought that losing the time all the way down the track was going to be red numbers, but he found time. Curve 12, 13, 14, and through the graveyard. He went from -1, losing velocity, as you said, with no speed, and then he found something on the bottom.
Lamindine offers his congratulations to the Cowboy.
Well, both those guys got a bad break in the first heat. The night train on the bottom part of the track where it's going uphill. He's over there in the snowbank, though.
Yeah. Talking of snow, look behind the crowd there. See what the kids have been up to in between the runs? They've all been on selection. Next up, 14th after the first heat. 200s quicker than our current leader, Nikita Zakharov of Russia. Andrei Lvov and Yuri Selikov with Peter Moiseyev on the back. One of the most experienced of the Russian brakemen.
Moiseyev is the only guy we somehow don't have a headshot from, but the way the Russians bring these people in and out of the team, you don't know where they're coming from.
Best result so far this year for Zakharov was in 10th position in Lake Placid. 14th last night.
499 in the first run, should match that or get better. 492, awesome. Great start speed too, great entry into the sled, which the Russians are very good at. They're well-schooled, well-drilled by their Canadian coach, Pierre Luters.
Leads by 100th as he sits down. He had 200s in hand over Nick Cunningham.
There's
That's
the 3.
now out to 3.
Good lines here. Remember, Cunningham found some speed on the bottom part of the track, down to 1, but this is where Cunningham was.
123.5, lowest speed we've seen all night so far.
They're at numbers, but how's he look here? Good, but losing time. And they're a little skid there, not bad.
Cunningham 136, 3 kilometers an hour down, and he drops 2 places more. Down to 3rd spot.
Maybe the Team Cunningham's going to live in that leader's box a little bit.
Yeah, and they're going to lap that up. They'll take it after last night's disappointments.
Well, the first heat disappointment.
Yeah,
I mean,
that too.
That was shocking that they were 1,600 slower in their first heat compared to yesterday, and that related to the wind. And look at he's trying to sneak over to the take-on here. That was clean lines. We can't really fault his run.
Long skid there. And he goes in the snow as well. You can see how deep the snow is. It's about ½ an inch of snow. It's only ½ an inch, but hit ½ an inch of standing water on the highway with your car, you know what it does. It jerks the steering sideways because it slows you down on one side.
Okay.
There is Nikita.
We got some fun coming up here.
Race being led now by Nick Cunningham, but if you're in trouble, maybe you can phone these guys from the LA Underworld. It is the A-Team. Hannibal has been joined by new member Kalashnikov at 3, Mad Murdoch on the back handles, and Faceman at 2.
The A-Team, these guys they win the promotion award. They got a lot of sponsorship, sled, great branding.
They need a bigger sled for all their sponsors, and a bigger chest for all their heart as well.
And a 48-year-old driver.
Yeah, never say you're too old for this sport.
Still athletic. Started the sport with Martin Annan, who won a silver medal, silver medal on this track in the 2002 games in 2-man, finished 4th in the 4-man, and he's the leader. But he's got a 5 flat start time. Boy, in the first run, he shocked us with his time and speed. Now it's down to 5. He's still holding his own, stop the bleeding.
1700s quicker than Nick Cunningham in the first heat. They started slower, 300s, 125.3. Cunningham was in the 126s. No, he wasn't, 124.6 for Cunningham. So he could still maybe hold on. Tie speed.
This is still a great finish, no matter what this guy does. He can still drive this 48-year-old. Oh, he almost hit the limit.
Oh, the 18, fast and loose.
Still. 4th place. Still a great result. He finished 20th last night. Tonight, he's going to finish 15th.
Yeah.
Oh, you know.
He's 4th with 12 to go, no worse than 16th position.
If they show us the finish curve, he almost tipped over. He went up to the high lip in the finish curve.
This guy has never driven this track before. This team have never raced in the World Cup before yesterday.
Everybody was laughing at him. Here they go out and they finish 15th tonight.
So we weren't laughing.
Here's the finish curve. Look how high he gets. Up near the roof.
Oh, baby.
And watch him come down, and the centrifugal force brings it back up. He almost rolled it.
Has he been taking fast and loose tips from Rico Peter, his teammate?
Well, you know, if you can't win, be exciting.
He's exciting, win, lose, or draw. They are so excited to be here, these guys, and they are really putting the smiles on everybody's faces. Now, you saw how gusty it was down at the bottom, and I just said earlier on, we're in a really still area of the track. It must be howling at the top as Simone Bertazzo of Italy comes to the start line. Simone Fontano, his man at 2, also a 2-man driver. Constantino Ughi and Francesco Costa, the rest of the crew.
Okay, 5:08, first run, should match that.
They are normally a little quicker than that.
496.
There you go.
Awesome.
They've been having some great 4-man starts this season.
Well, just want to look at the gusts up behind him there. The weather outside is frightful.
Better stay tuned.
2600s usually, this will be the leader at the bottom. There's no way he can give this back, especially with the eyes and hands this guy has. 30, he's accelerating away. Look at the gusts, and they're in the straightaway into Wasatch curve. Olympic curve now, 13, 14. Watch the exit here, perfect. As good as anybody driving a sled right here.
Yeah, good speed. I think this is still a Stamford sled. 136 kilometers, that's not bad.
Second best time of the run, so goodbye to Team Cunningham. Fabrizio Torsini says Luxani likes the result for Simone. That'll keep him in probably the top 10 in the World Cup ranking, which is so important to stay in the first draw.
Brakemen have got a break earlier. The outrun is still fast.
One of our Korean officials running up in the red jacket. He'll probably be made in the finish area during the Olympic Games. Speaks great English. We've had some great conversations with him. Look at the airborne in the back of the runners. This is in the sunny curve. Now watch this. Want to learn how to drive a bobsled? Well, watch this guy, because this guy can do it.
Trying to do a corrective steer to get the line right. Didn't see any of the helmets moving on board either. How you ride the sled is a real part of the brakeman's art.
Well, they might be delaying on purpose. That's an old ploy that we used to use ourselves, is shoot up the finish ramp and delay the race a little bit if there's some snow going on. And you,
they're also waiting for enough width as that outrun opens up so they can lay the sled on its side. Justin Cripps of Canada waiting, and every few seconds you wait in a cold wind like this, the hot muscles get colder. Justin Cripps with Alex Kopax joining the team post-Christmas, Derek Plug and Ben Coakwell, and this is a big starting unit.
These guys have found themselves in the 50 meters in the last couple of weeks. 491 in the first heat, 486 here.
Yeah, baby, 486. That is an awesome getaway for Cripps and the team.
And also a great entry into the sled. They sat down perfectly, and Cripps just nailed Sonny. Had some mistakes up top in the first run, which put him back here in this position.
Great speed so far. 107.2 is flying.
Won a bronze medal last week in Lake Placid, 4th last night here in the race.
He could move up the order. 126.3, fastest we've seen.
This is clean too. Perfect out of into the Olympic curve. Now the straightaway into the graveyard. Looks great.
Climb 136.3, that's very good.
48.32, bye-bye to the attempt.
Faster than his first heat by 700ths of a second.
Uh-oh, when you start seeing faster in the second runs after 10 sleds like this, track still has something left. Usually the track gets all cut up. See the guy leaning in the pole there, that's Cody Baskew's dad. Craig.
Good run from Cripps. Flew up the order yesterday, might do the same again today.
Graveyard. clean. Good aerodynamic profile from his team. The Italians congratulating him.
Third in Lake Placid, fourth here last night. Justin Cripps leads the field with 10 still to come. Lots more to develop here in Park City. Is it still gusting at the top of the track? I think gusting is the word. It's no longer howling consistently. Looks like it's almost still, as our 10th fastest run in the first heat, Alexander Kasyanov, the man who was first off, who won last night's race. Alexei Pushkarev, Ilva Hutsin, and Alexei Zaitsev, they only had got the 16th fastest start at 5:03. They should be down 491 at worst.
They've been ordered to get about a 488. 488, 487 I'm banking on here. Ordered by Pierre Loaders. Here's the 488. They said, you better get a sub 490 here or you will be going to that little northern province called Siberia.
Well, that's where half of them come from. Big winter sports facility, Krasnoyarsk. Lots of the athletes come from there.
He won the event last night, and he's got a 700s deficiency with that start time. I don't understand that. But he's got
300s, here we go.
Perfect lines. Boy, with that line there, he could catch him on the bottom if he's clean in the Olympic curve. That's clean.
Down to 0. He's tied. He's going to go ahead.
This is what he did last night when he won the race. Perfect lines.
Good run.
Oh, his head came over the
Alexander
brake.
Kasyanov, but he didn't get the brakes on, so 1100's up, 48.21.
Look at Loaders. But I think the brake footer, the number 3 guy's head came up in the straightaway.
Do you know, there's so much pressure all the way down this track. Not mental pressure, but physical pressure. The G-forces come on at the beginning of Albert's Alley, turn 6, snowy, and they never relent all the way down. You're under 2 or 3 Gs minimum, pretty much everywhere.
Look at these lines. This is as good as it gets. Look at the energy of the sled. No swaying, nothing. Right into the Wasatch with the speed. Now watch the brake bar. I think it's number 3. Watch the head pop up here. He thought he was in the finish straight.
It makes it so hard to count the corners.
Watch this.
Yeah, it's the
Hello,
brake.
no, you aren't finished yet.
It makes it so hard to count the corners. Normally pressure, release, pressure, release.
Look at the doctor walking with one of the athletes there.
I can understand that. 2 four-man races in a weekend puts a lot of pressure on the back. Next up, Stephen Holcomb, the USA, Frank Del Duca, Carlo Valdez, and Sam McGuffey. And now that the air is still at the top, lots of noise.
Start time Holcomb got 3rd. The first run was unbelievable. His team has not been giving him the starts. He got it the first run.
If they can get down into the 80s, he could move into the 6.
He drove a perfect line in the first run. And boy, is he looking for a little vengeance. 4, 8,
oh! 4! Tell me about how much they want this track to perform for them.
Holcomb was so bitter last night. The 19th best time in the second run on his home track.
Yeah.
1200s.
Here we go, but he's nearly doubled the lead he sat down with.
That was related to the start, though.
Yeah.
He should be called away. It's not good there. That's not good.
He was only 400s out of the top 6. Holcomb needs this redemption. Night Train has gone behind. Kasyanov, yesterday's winner, will stay in the leader's box. Holcomb does not have the speed. Yes, he might do. 136 at the line. 400ths of a second behind.
Well, I'll tell you something. Holcomb might not be very happy with his finish, the first top 10 finish of the year, but he has to be encouraged with the start time that his team just delivered.
Yeah.
Because if Holcomb has a start time, everybody knows he can drive, especially after winning the 2-man gold medal in Lake Placid last week.
These guys are digging in for him.
He's had some issues with his runners. He's been changing runners for all season, trying to find speed. You can't say anything bad about these lines he's driving.
Yep, but the speed just drops off the sled down the track, and they are still perplexed by that. But that is a much happier Stephen Holcomb than yesterday.
A little bit of redemption for him.
Little. Alexander Kasyanov leads. We will have a Russian leader after this next sled, but will it be Kasyanov, yesterday's winner, or Alexei Stulnev here? Stulnev finished in 6th position in what was a good night for Russian bobsledding yesterday. He lies 8th. 6th position is tied 300s in front of him. There is Kazyanov's team.
Thank you.
Kazyanov there, second left. A big part on the right-hand side, Alexander Kazyanov.
Okay, 4 very large men gonna jump in this little bathtub. Probably get about a 493. 485.
That's a great start. 497 in the first heat.
Wow.
Said that was not normal.
Wow. So something going on up there. Maybe the wind's blowing from the back to the front.
They've outstarted Kazyanov, yesterday's winner.
This is a huge, huge amount of time for him to be ahead of this part of the track.
He's already added a 10th to the 700s he sat down with. Could be 2700s. No, losing time back.
A lot of time to give away the 1200s at the bottom. This track is famous for somebody tying each other down to 4.
Gusting at the bottom of the track, though, through the Olympic curve with a big scoreboard above.
Good there, sloppy. Down on red numbers, he could fall at least 1 spot. 3 spots.
Behind Holcomb, Kazyanov leads, Holcomb second, Stulnev down to third.
Look at the gusts come in, look at the wind.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's wind related, but wow, the start times are astonishing.
Yeah.
For them to have a 485, for Holcomb to have a 484. You go back to Lamont Dean's time. You know, I'm just really impressed with something going on up here. I mean, there's a wind blowing from back to front,
right,
aiding them, so a wind-aided start like they do on 100 meters when they test it.
Can't blow through the back of the start area, though. That's
a little
solid.
rough there. That was a little rough. The articulation of the sled maxed out, and that's might have would have cost them a 10th. But actually, they still have a pretty good job this weekend.
Yeah. Could end up with a top half dozen finish yet, because this track and this weather conditions we saw yesterday played havoc with a lot of sliders. 6 to go. Yesterday's race winner, Alexander Kazyanov, leads.
Wow, here's a story.
Yeah. Yoon Jong-won of Korea. Disappointing beyond measure yesterday with his performance. 18th. Today, same man, same sled, same crew, same track. 6th, tied after the first heat.
So 495. Everybody's got faster. He could break into the 80s here.
Nice load, 492.
Speed, half a kilometer down a Holcomb speed, but Holcomb was a 800's better. 700's better to start. Juan has never finished, I don't think, in the top 10 of the 4-man bobsled race in his career. He's got 4 medals in 2-man competition. And this will be one of the faces of the Pyeongchang Olympic Games for Korea.
Best result this season, 14th last week in Lake Placid.
He's doing good, only 600's back considering the start time deficiency.
Well, he's not going to find that. 124.9, not
he lost a lot there. He's going to fall back a couple places. So
128.
Still going to be a top 10 finish.
Not quite there.
Personal best.
5th place at the line. Oh, he will be disappointed to have dropped that far back, though.
I think it's still a top 10 finish. That'll be his best finish ever in 4-man. That's got to be encouraging for what they've been through the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, lost coach Malcolm Lloyd just before they landed in Lake Placid. And if you don't know about the man they called Goma, then go to the IBSF website and check out a little tribute to him.
Look at the size of these 4. They were skinny guys 5 years ago when they first came in the sport, and boy, have they learned how to become bobsledders. Technically proficient, like the Koreans are in many sports. And Juan, keep your eyes on this guy here. This guy here going to be favored to win Olympic medals 2 years from now.
Alexander Kazyanov, yesterday's race winner, leads. Still 6 to go because there was a tie for 6th position. Francesco Friedrich tied with Yoon Jong-won. Candy Barrett too, first race weekend of the season for him. Just by the white board there, you can see Gert Leopold with his face towards us now, the German physical trainer. There's their coach, Christoph Langen.
Okay, this could be low 80s.
Langen looking to see what the wind was doing as he ducked out of the shelter in the start area.
4.7.
That's exceptional starting.
Watch out, this guy here with this Candy Bauer back on the sled.
Start record is 4.72, dates back to the Olympic Games in 2002.
And they're missing one of their other top crewmen, Andreas Bordeaux. He's been hurt, and they say if they get back, they say they will rocketed the starts at Innsbruck, it could lead him to the gold medal, because it's all about a start time at Innsbruck.
108 best speed we saw, 125.7, second best speed we've seen at that clock. He needs 136 is high, 137's at the bottom.
3000s to 1900s, he lost a ton of time.
He was 3600s up before Albert's Alley.
Could be single digits here the way it's falling.
And it is. Wow. 800s is enough to take the lead, but not enough for a medal.
Boy, did he lose some time. What a start. This Candy, but see the guy number 2?
Yeah.
He's 250 pounds, and he's lost 20 pounds.
Yeah.
They just got him back into the sport, or into the competition.
Yeah.
Listen, look at him. You think they like their start time?
That is Torsten Margis, his two-man brakeman, who's at the back of the sled in this shot.
And Margis is the leading decathlete in the field, 7,800 points. And him and Friedrich team for the two-man world championships a couple times. Down here, though, on the bottom part of the track, look at that steer. That sled, when you see the sled split like that, and then here, a little bit of a drift here.
Yeah, a little bit of a flop.
Right there, right there,
and
right there, that drift. Yeah, right there, he hit there.
Hits the wall,
and
in the snow.
That's the apex of going uphill. So he lost a lot of time on the bottom part of the track.
There's Friedrich. And there's Torsten. So Francesco Friedrich leads, 5 sleds to go. Is it all over? No, it is definitely not all over yet here. 5 sleds left, 2 of them are Latvians, and 2 have, well, one of them, certainly Ugo Zalim's 5th position. He had a great race yesterday, came up from a 16th spot to 5th. Today in the first heat, he just drove great into 5th place.
Best start in the first heat, 480. They could rocket to 475.
Track record 472, all 300s away.
Unbelievable that Latvia can deliver these athletes, not only one team, 2 teams, 3 teams deep. Their top dog, Melvardis, isn't here. He's got a bad back. He's been out from Lake Placid and this event here. They hope to get it back in St. Moritz. But he's got red numbers. He had that unbelievable start, and he's already in red numbers.
Well, he was only 200s ahead of Francesco Friedrich. Friedrich's team, he outstarted them by 200s, but
he couldn't catch Friedrich here. 300s to 300s, he could catch him here in the bottom.
No, Friedrich had 125 and 135, and he is going to stay behind. 3rd place. There's Gregor Birnbach on the right.
Tied with Holcomb, right?
Yeah.
They're tied with Holcomb, so Holcomb moves up a spot. Holcomb needs to get into that top 10 for ranking. Wow, what a start. What athletes. It's almost the 3rd Latvian team. There's one more Latvian team coming up. Look at these athletes. I mean, you won't find better athletes. I mean, the Germans are 2 or 3 teams deep, but that's a little larger country than Latvia.
Yes, it is.
It's unbelievable to see these guys perform like this, and it's a little tiny nation on the Baltic, and it's unbelievable athletes that they bring to the sport.
There's more people in Bavaria than there are in Latvia.
A little late here in the finish. That's the 2nd sled we've seen do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that cost him much, but look at that.
Not as wild as Billy Meyerhoff.
Burn back there.
Yeah, Torsten Margis.
Nice job.
Candy Bauer at the far end of that lead group. 4 to go. Here we go. Another Latvian. And he was only 200s in front of the Latvia 3 driver. This is Oskars Kibermanis. Normally Latvia 2. There's their coach, Sandis Prusis.
Kibermanis only scored about 61 or 6,800 points in the decathlete test when he was competing. And he's only 22.
Yeah.
So this could be another 478. They could rocket into the 70s. There it is.
Oh, 477. Stunning starting at this sharp end of the field.
Unbelievable. Athleticism. The athleticism in bobsled used to be 3-4 sleds. Now it's like 12, 15 deep that the athletes are. It's unbelievable to see the athletic performance of the teams compared to just 5-6 years ago.
Still in the green numbers, creeping away.
It's not good there.
300ths of a second away. 125.7, about the same speed as Friedrich. But has he kept it on board?
Kibermanis just hasn't got it figured out yet driving. 22 years old, needs another couple years.
Couple of steers there to correct the slide, and a 10th of a second back.
compounded power. They can't believe it themselves.
Kiva Manis was 0.02 of a second in front of his teammate Ugi Salims in the first heat. They have both just set an identical second heat time. Over the 2 runs, there's just 0.02 between the 2 Latvian sleds.
Who's got the top 2 start times? Latvians.
Yep.
And the Germans, Friedrich did tie him,
Yep.
the second sled. Look at these guys. This is a mirror of the other Latvian team just went down. And they're drilled. I mean, they are so well schooled in the getting in the sled. Keeper Manis misses the big mistake, which cost him his placing. That might be one of the worst lines we've seen in the straightaway.
Yep.
But he's 22.
11-12, and he knows it was a driving error that gave the position away. 3 to go. Friedrich leads, winner of 2 4-man races already this season. Rico Peter on a hat-trick of bronze medals. No, he didn't. He didn't get bronze in Lake Placid. He's had 2 thirds, 2 fourths, and a 5th this season. He's on target for another medal.
Second man down in the first run. Might have been a disadvantage. Look at this, a little bit of a delay.
Listen though, no wind noise.
Okay, 496, so they got to get in the 80s to have a chance here. 45.
There we go. They knock 1/10 of a second and change off their start time.
Now, Rico has been hitting everything in sight, going to the bottom with a fast time. This track, you can't do that. This track, it's all about perfection.
Now, he was 900s ahead of our current leader, Francesco Friedrich, after the first heat, and he's lost all of that at the start.
We didn't see anything there.
Wow. But it's all from the start.
Oh, here he comes, though.
Started by 1/10.
Here he comes, 15-12. If he gets it down to single digits by the Olympic curve, right here, he'll have a chance.
He was wild last week in Lake Placid, but he was tidy yesterday, and he's going to take the lead from Francesco Friedrich.
He's got it. There he comes. Look at how low his team is in that sled.
He leads with 2 to go. Well, there's a Jawohl.
Rico Peters.
Wolfgang Stampfer, the coach for the Swiss team.
You look at Rico Peter, you don't think he's not like a Francisco Friedrich with a profile, or Nico Walter, or all the top driver profiles. But Nico, or this guy Rico, can really drive a bobsled.
He is in his pomp now, isn't he? He is absolutely
really. Last year was a coming out party. This year he's not disappointing anybody. Look how low the team is. Great aerodynamic profile, and 85 miles an hour here, and the wind whipping up. Look at the profile of the team. No movement back there. Great speed on the bottom, and he took a deficiency, red numbers, turned into green, and a bronze medal.
Yeah,
minimum.
And Rico Peter leads. His worst race this year was 5th. And he's on target for his 3rd bronze medal at least. Next up, the 2 Germans who dominated the first heat, separated by 200 of a second. Let's be honest, it was a draw. It was a dead heat in all but name. So is it going to be Rico Peter between these, front of these, or behind these?
Okay, 493. Everybody else been getting in the mid-80s. These Germans should at least do that. 49, not as good as everybody else has improved. But not everybody's got the best driver in the world in the front seat.
Double 4-man world champion in 2013, 2015, Max Arndt.
Look at this. He's taking a deficient start time, and he's turning it into...
He now has 1300s. That's what he had after the first heat.
Got 13.
Still only living on his first heat advantage, but 126.4, good speed.
Watch these lines. Watch the head slap here on the Olympic curve. Watch this, the beautiful transition. There it is.
Gap's coming down.
900. This is going.
It's going to be very close at the line. Will he still be in front of Rico Peter? To the 100th of a second, he is. 48.3 is the run. He holds onto the lead, but is it enough to beat his teammate, who was faster in the first heat?
Well, silver medal last night. At least a silver medal tonight. He'll maintain his World Cup lead. Rico Peter will stay in 3rd place in the World Cup points. And, boy, 600ths of a second. Look at 600s, 1200s, 20, 22, 24, 24, 29. It's so close on this track. And this little drift off to the right of our screen, his left. Lost some time on the bottom, Max.
Yeah,
but
Max, he did. Fastest run Francesco Friedrich, 48.20. Second fastest, yesterday's winner, Alexander Kasyanov, of 48.21.
Wow.
It was their first heats that undid both of them.
This guy here, like Kasyanov, was early yesterday in the competition. He finished 11th yesterday.
Well, this could be vindication. He could slice one of the numbers off that number 11 and finish in first place. Leader after the first heat by 0.02 of a second.
Look at the size of the guy on the left. 6'7". He's going to get in the number 2 position. He'll get in like a 5'5" guy when he's done.
And he will be bent double over his driver while they load to allow the guys at 3 and 4 to get in.
Watch this precision. Down.
Drops in, 486.
This is a former luge athlete, was never on this track, never seen this track in bobsleigh until this week. And 11th, 10th last night, he was so upset with it. It wasn't his performance. He was in that first or second position coming off.
And he was the man that snapped Francesco Friedrich's winning streak. Friedrich had won 3 two-man and 2 four-man races before this man won at Koenigsegg in Bavaria in the four-man.
Losing time back, 400s. He better not see red numbers here. Oh, yes, he's pulled away. Francisco Friedrich is going to look on and see his teammate, or Max Arndt's going to see Nico Walter win the race.
Nico Walter takes his second medal of the season, the top step of the podium, 48.30, exactly the same time as Max Arndt. He led by 200s, he wins by 200s.
10th last night. You think they're happy? Look at 6'7".
Well, his last 2 races, 13th in Lake Placid, 11th last night, first tonight. 6 training runs plus 2 in competition yesterday, and now Nico Walter in the next 2 goes first and first.
Wow, what a reversal of fortune from last night to
There's
tonight.
Hubie with the beard, there's Torsten Margis, Francesco Friedrich's brakeman, and there is Friedrich.
3 Germans in the top 4. Wow.
And Rico Peter again preventing the clean sweep of the podium. There's Brawl van der Zijde, Rico's brakeman.
Holcomb tied for 7th. That'll help him out in the points. Be interesting to see how the World Cup points come out.
You think he's feeling the relief after that pressure to perform? Absolutely. Nico Walter wins race number 2 of the season. 2 wins also for Max Arndt. 2 wins also for Francesco Friedrich.
Well, he's going to move up that leader. Oh, he's
no, 1 win for Max Arndt. 2 for Friedrich and 2 for Walter.
Former luge athlete. Just started driving like 2 years ago. Didn't have the best start top of the track. And boy, did he extract vengeance on the track tonight after dealing with the weather last night and finishing in 10th or 11th place. And just, you know, won by 200s. It's ironic. Max Arndt beat him by 200s at the World Championships last year in Winterberg in the 4-man competition. So tonight, Nico Walter, look at the lines down here on the bottom. He needed them. He needed every 100th of a second. Perfect down here, 13 to 14.
And the difference between him and Max Arndt, he outstarted Arndt's crew by 200s in the first heat, finished in front by 200s, and they outstarted Arndt's crew by 300s in the second heat, but could not produce even 1 extra 100th of pace down the track. So they won by their first round advantage, 200ths of a second. Take it, it's a win. Pressure relieved for Nico Walter. So Max Arndt second, Rico Peter in third, ahead of Francesco Friedrich. Yesterday's winner, Alexander Kasyanov, and the Latvians slipped to 6th and 7th, but Stephen Holcomb ties 7th, ahead of Alexei Stulnev and Justin Cripson. That's a good second day here for Holcomb in the 4-man. Cunningham 11th, ahead of Lamin Dean, who came up from 20th. And the A-team in 16th place, Ivo de Bruyn 18th, ahead of Cody Basque and John Jackson of Great Britain in 20th. Well, another topsy-turvy race, and once more, see how little wind there is there through the flags that were straight out from those flag masts at the beginning of the race.
Much better, more fairer race tonight, except the first heat for Cunningham and Lamin Dean. Those 2 guys somehow got into a vortex of bad wind or something, because they both rocketed like 10, 1500s better in the second run at the start. And where did Lamondine finish up?
Well, he moved up the order to 14th from 19th, didn't he? Or 20th he was, yeah. So
he had the 7th best start. Cunningham with the 13th. Yeah, Cunningham's team was in the 80s yesterday. Couldn't achieve that number today, but boy, we saw some start times. The athleticism in bobsledding, like I said, used to be 2 or 3, 4 teams. Now it's 10, 12 teams of.
Well, we saw a handful of start times that were less than 500ths away from the all-time record, which was set in the Olympic Games. I mean, the absolute pinnacle of speed on this track. The best ever prepared ice, arguably, and certainly some of the best ever prepared teams, and they were right up there in a regular World Cup appearance.
The award ceremony be down next to this hospitality tent.
Yep.
They've done a fantastic job here in Park City. The Utah Olympic Park it's just a great organization, great crowds attended.
Yeah, really good to see so many fans out. All the 3 races today and 2 races yesterday. It's been a long day at the track, and lots of them have spent a lot of time out here enjoying some very close racing. It's been good for the crews as well to have such a huge number of fans at the start and at the finish and all the way down the track. Race 6 of the BMW IBSF 4-man World Cup is done, and Max Arndt continues to lead the World Cup standings from Francesco Frigic and Rico Peter. Alexander Kashanov's win yesterday leaves him 4th, but Nico Valterrada is closing after victory tonight. Stephen Holcomb up to 12th in the World Cup rankings. Nick Cunningham in 10th picks off Oscar's Kibermanis, and Stephen Holcomb will also hopefully move up the order in the next couple of races in San Moritz, or the next race in San Moritz, to try and get himself into the top 10 for the World Championships in Innsbruck in February. But there is no 4-man competition next week because it's double 2-man weekend in Whistler. Well, Nico Valter led after the first heat by 0.02 of a second. The team pulled out all the stops to give him everything they could, and he won gold for the 2nd time this season. The margin of victory, 0.02 of a second. His first round advantage over Max Arndt. He kept it alive, and Arndt has to be satisfied with the silver medal.
Clean drive, that's for sure. That's how come he won by just 0.02 of a second.
Well, we've had 6 races. 5 have been won by Germans, 2 by Nico Valter, 2 by Francesco Frigic, 1 by Max Arndt, and yesterday's race, for the first time in his life, won by Alexander Kasyanov of Russia. But Nico Valter is today's happy bunny. Rico Peter on the podium there, 3rd bronze medal of the season for the Swiss team. Still, his worst result of the year was 5th place in Lake Placid. They see Max Arndt holding the flowers and the running shoes, the reigning world champion, double world champion. And big smiles from Nico Valter and his crew. Christian Poser, Gregor Birnbach, and Janis Becker yesterday, and today Marco Hubenbecker, the tall bearded figure there in the center of your shot, joins their lineup. So congratulations to Nico Valter as he claims his first win of the North American swing, with Hubi, Christian Poser and Eric Franke, the team behind him. And that's it for 4-man. We race next week at the 2010 Winter Olympic venue at Whistler in Canada. We'll see you then. For John Borg and the IBSF TV crew, I'm Martin Haven saying thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. Goodbye from Park City.